Evening from Anglia News. First tonight, he's been dubbed the human womble and the neighbour from hell. Now, a Norfolk man has been fined nearly £2,000 for rummaging through other people's bins. Magistrates in Great Yarmouth heard how Dennis Bostock regularly went through black bin bags near Marine Parade between 3 and 4 in the morning. Now he could be about to pick up his second ASBO, as Elodie Harper reports.
He's been called the human womble. But Dennis Bostock is really more of an anti-womble, spreading rubbish where his furry counterparts collect it. His neighbours say he uses the rubbish to feed seagulls at 3 in the morning. Not a pleasant wake-up call.
When that food goes down, those seagulls come en masse, screaming, shouting, excreting everywhere, all over the cars, windows, paintwork, everywhere. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Sometimes, if he's had a good day around the bins, around the back, he'll put down 3 bags of food.
And what's the impact on your life?
Chronic. We're living like zombies.
And the combination of seagulls and litter is not proving a selling point for a nearby hotel.
Obviously, some of the customers have brought this up. Our road is very clean. Everybody, really puts an effort in for the customers and the visitors that come to the town. And for a man to do that, it's not very nice for anyone to walk out and see that on the road.
Yarmouth magistrates heard that Mr Bostock had already had an ASBO imposed for similar behaviour in Blackpool, where he also featured in the TV programme Filthy Homes from Hell.
They'd pay 50 pence for that in a cab and they wasted about 20 pence worth of it.
Yarmouth Borough Council say they hope his conviction will deter Mr Bostock from spreading any more rubbish.
We've had numerous complaints almost daily from the businesses and the residents in the area. The rubbish is strewn all across the service road.
But for some, the pensioner is a much misunderstood figure. Dennis Bostock has lived here for nearly 2 years. His landlady, Mary Chapman, didn't want to be interviewed on camera, but she told me that he had always been a pleasure to have as a guest. She said his behaviour didn't disturb her personally and that she thought it was a shame things had gone so far. Dennis Bostock's conviction for 5 counts of disturbing waste has seen him fined nearly £2,000. Next week he's due to appear before magistrates, who'll decide whether to impose a post-conviction ASBO on the pensioner. Elodie Harper, Anglia Tonight, Great Yarmouth.
Final speeches have been taking place in the trial of a Norwich businessman accused of murdering his former girlfriend. John Moody, who's 45, admits killing Karen Brown and her new partner Kenneth Snell, but he claims to have no recollection of events when they were stabbed to death last October. He denies murder on the grounds of diminished responsibility. The judge will sum up the case in the morning. A new hospice in Ipswich is closer to reality after fundraisers announced they'd reached the £1 million mark. The Treehouse appeal was launched in March, and today some of those who'll need it the most were given a tour of the site. Serena Sandhu reports.
For these families, this is a very exciting moment. If everything goes to plan this time next year, this building will be providing them with much needed support, as well as a number of facilities that don't exist in the current hospice.
We've got things like a hydrotherapy pool going in here, a music studio, a proper sensory room for the first time, instead of which in our bungalow we just cram all of these things into the tiny bedrooms.
The new hospice will have 6 bedrooms, 3 en suites and, more importantly, separate accommodation for families who need end-of-life care.
We can plan things as a family, knowing that Callum can come to the hospice for the day and he'll have fun while he's here, and we'll do things with our other children that he can't participate in.
The Treehouse appeal needs to raise £3 million to complete the hospice. Since March, they've raised £1 million, and they're hopeful that others will now be inspired to get involved. Serena Sandhu, Anglia News.
Great to see things progressing well. Norwich City footballer Grant Holt had his sentencing for a motoring offence adjourned today by magistrates. The striker was convicted last week of failing to supply police with the identity of a driver allegedly caught speeding. Today, his lawyer said he intended to submit special reasons which could lessen his punishment. Sentencing will now take place next month. Hundreds of thousands of visitors are expected to head to Lowestoft tomorrow as the 14th Air Festival gets underway. The two-day event will feature daring displays from Northamptonshire-based Blades Aerobatic Display Team, a Vulcan bomber, and despite earlier doubts, the world-famous Red Arrows. It's been a busy day today, getting things ready.
Today it's one of those days where it's setting up, getting things ready, doing preparatory information, getting information out to people, trying to set ourselves up generally. Tomorrow it should run like clockwork, as it usually does.
And if you can't make it tomorrow, we will of course have full coverage on Anglia tonight, tomorrow at 6. Now it's more used to Formula 1 and fancy sports cars, but the Lotus test track near Norwich is playing host to a new type of London cab. It looks familiar, but this is claimed to be the first zero-emission taxi. It's powered by hydrogen fuel cells and an electric motor. It's got a top speed of 80 miles an hour and can do 250 miles on one tank. It's hoped this type of taxi will be on London streets in time for the 2012 Olympics. Now, more than 160 boats of all shapes and sizes have been racing around Mersey Island in Essex today. It's the 40th anniversary of the Round the Island race, and boats can go either way round the 14-mile course. The big challenge, though, is negotiating the Strood, the road which connects Mersey Island to the rest of Essex. Just look at that. It's part of a week of racing there. Well, is it sailing weather? Let's find out now with Amanda Houston.
Whatever the weather, enjoy it with Anglian Home Improvements, sponsors of Anglia Weather.
Hello again. Well, as we head overnight, we are going to see a few showers creeping into northern parts of our region. You can